What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rich. Real Talk with Rich is back in the building one more again. What up? What up? Man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody that's joining us on tonight. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Black Comic Lords, Black Superheroes Forever fam. Man, I tell you, it has been interesting. I've been gone a couple of weeks, and y'all got to tell me what's been going on, because I have been in somewhat of a foxhole. I've been working. I've been trying to do things here and there, whatever, but nothing really comic related. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, what's going on with y'all? I want to shout out everybody that's with us on tonight. Brooklyn, I see you. Robert Monroe Jr. First up, as always. Smooth approach. Good to see you. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to the Black Comic Lords, Black Superheroes Forever fam. So tonight, I just wanted to pop in, do a show. Nothing concrete, no subject matter, whatever. I didn't want to. It's been a lot of heaviness lately, so I kind of want to keep it light for the foreseeable future. There's a lot of stuff to be mad about, irritated about, but I don't want to do that tonight here. I just kind of want to chill, say what's going on. Hope everybody's enjoying hope you enjoyed the weekend. It is the first day of the week. So we got to get ready for Monday, because, you know, Monday's right around the corner. And so I'm glad that you guys are here with me on tonight. So yeah, first of all, little housekeeping or whatever, you know, please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a hater. We live on tonight. Chillmonger, what's good? What did he say? You got that back in time to plug the FOC for Static Stand Moral Cover. Well, you know, y'all know what to do. We've been stressing the importance of pre-ordering. But yeah, shout out to Killmonger for pointing that out. Orion, what's good? So yeah, I want you guys to just, you know, chill out, hang out with us, you know what I'm saying? If you're feeling a little generous, hit us with a super chat. And yeah, man, what's good? What's good? So, you know, first of all, let me clean my specs. I'm coming up on the show, and my glasses got me all foggy. Shout out to all you young people who don't need glasses. Trust and believe. You live long enough, you will. So anyway, so what's been going on? So first of all, you know, as you see the bookshelf over here, I should say, it's kind of bare. I'm getting ready to relocate back to Fort Worth. And so I've been boxing up stuff and packing up stuff and that kind of thing. So this summer, I'm moving back to Fort Worth. It's been interesting, needless to say. My wife and I came down here to do some work. And some stuff worked out, some stuff hasn't. So, you know, hey, I'm going back home where it's comfortable. If I got to work on stuff down here, I might as well be comfortable. So, but yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So that's why the shelf is kind of bare or whatever. I still got a whole side over here that you guys can't see that I got to do. Most of my graphic novel stuff or whatever. And I might just pull out some graphic novels just to, you know, show some stuff that I got in my collection. So yeah, what's up, Frustrated? Good to see you, man. So it's interesting. I'm looking at my screen. There's two videos going on. There is a video where you can watch us on the phone, and then there's a video where you can watch us like here, big screen. And so I'm not able to see both chats, unfortunately. I don't know how we're going to rectify that, but if I don't respond to your comment, it's because I'm only able to see one part of the show. So let me try to work on that here. But anyway, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Daredevil. Season 2, episode 1 just dropped recently. What I thought about it. It was all right. It was all right. Daredevil was being very violent. Daredevil was being very violent. You know what I'm saying? And while, you know, we don't know everything or whatever, I thought it was a strong first episode. I kind of wish they would have like given us like 2 or 3 episodes, drop whatever instead of doing it the way they're doing it. But okay, that's fine, Marvel. So yeah. But you know, it's been cool. Let's see what's going on here. Having some technical difficulties, y'all. Bear with me. Come on. That's supposed to be there. Okay. So anyway, but yeah, Daredevil was pretty chill. I gotta say, it was all right. I watched it twice. It didn't get better the second time I saw it. So I want to make sure that it was just a eye issue and I wasn't tripping or whatever. But it was okay for what it was. I don't know if it's going to get. I'm hoping it gets better. I'm hoping that Marvel does this thing, whatever, you know what I'm saying? They like to stretch out the drama or whatever. So I'm like, let's get to it. Let's find out what's going on. I don't want to spoil it, don't want to tell it or whatever, but I want to know what was on that ship other than them guns that they saw. That's all I'm going to say about it. So if you have not caught up with it, you know what I'm saying, go on and check it out, you know what I'm saying, so we can have a deeper discussion about Daredevil Born Again. You know, so we'll see. Nice ending, I will say. You know, and I just thought it was funny that the message that was on the blade was like, "You're welcome." So yeah. Fubu Comics, what's good? Okay. Ryan says on my phone, but prefer the classic view. Absolutely. Frustrated says I can't wait for them to bring in the Netflix characters and see Wonder Man Incorporated. It's, you know what, I gotta say, that will be interesting. Needless to say, you know what I'm saying. I really want to see Luke Cage. I do. I kind of want to see the Defenders, but I don't know if we're going to get that wholesale. You know, these IPs and the legalities that go with them, man, and can't do this, you can't use that. You know, Marvel is just a mess. So, John Fortune, what's good? So anyway, that's enough of Daredevil. Y'all, you know, that's enough MCU talk for me. I don't care about the MCU. The MCU, it's this brings T'Challa back. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've heard some rumblings that, you know, they're making TJ, T'Challa Jr. He's gonna be Haitian. He's going to still be in the MCU. So I guess I don't know how they make that right. And shout out to the Black Panther fans. Black Panther fans, let me just say this to y'all and to me. Okay, I want to include myself in this. I don't know what's on the horizon for you guys. I don't know what's on the horizon for us. And the reason why I say that is because Black Panther Intergalactic just ended, right? I thought it was pretty cool for what it was. Shout out to Victor Laval. And he says, we don't recognize the child. Shout out to Killmonger. So anyway, I don't know what's on the horizon. Shout out to Victor Laval for the Intergalactic Black Panther. I thought it was a strong book. I really did. Not my favorite Black Panther book, but I thought it was pretty strong for what it was. I don't know if we'll ever see the characters that they put in or whatever. I don't know if we'll ever see those characters again. But there's nothing in the solicits for a while, guys. It might, you Black Panther fans might have a drought. We may all have a drought. And so it is so weird, man. I was reading something earlier today talking about Absolute Batman, but Absolute, I think it was, I don't know who's doing Absolute Batman or who the writer is, whatever, because I've kind of drifted away from the Absolute stuff. But anyway, I saw where someone said Absolute Harley Quinn or whomever it is maybe it was Poison Ivy. I don't know. They said that, you know, she'll come back in like a year from now. They said a year. So that tells me that the absolute universe is going to be around for a considerable amount of time, and that's how much they have invested in that foolishness. It's going to be around for at least another year or so. And I'm just thinking to myself, man, why can't we get an absolute Black Lightning? How come we can't get an absolute John Stewart or something like that? What, can we get an absolute Vixen? Can we get something? Yeah, Scott Snyder. I think that's who's writing it. Frustrated. Thank you. But can we get something with some melanin in it? Of course, we know that there's something going on with DC right now, and it does not bode well for DC. I went to the comic shop today and I looked at all the DC stuff, and I just was like, and the Marvel stuff too. It's very white out here, y'all. There's shout out to Morgan Hampton, who's doing Green Lantern Corps, and shout out to the Absolute Green Lantern, which is the Joe Mullen book. But it's pretty pasty out here, man, and that is, man, unfortunate. Speaking of very white, okay, Frustrated says, I don't think people understand that the absolute universe will be the new Earth 1. Hey, man, DC is known for doing crazy stuff. I mean, you talk about the Rebirth, the New 52, the All In. I wouldn't be surprised. I'll say it like that. Orion says absolute Catwoman is like Zoe Kravitz, right? That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. But I don't know if absolute Catwoman is a strong enough title to even get. To be honest, I don't know if absolute Catwoman is enough to even garner our interest. Can I just be real? She may be Zoe Kravitz. She may be Black. I just don't know if we have enough interest or in Catwoman like that. To where we would take it one, that we would take it serious to go buy it, and two, to like really think that's enough, because we really want DC to do the right thing and give us, you know, titles that are going to last. So I don't know. I mean, the absolute stuff is you know, of all the absolute titles, Absolute Wonder Woman is my favorite, which is weird because I'm not a Wonder Woman fan at all. But I just like the way that they took, you know, the story that they took to create Absolute Wonder Woman. I thought that was dope. And you got to remember too that the Absolute universe is actually a universe that Darkseid started. So I don't know if they're going to allow Darkseid to kind of keep this thing going. It's making them money, so they may stretch it out another year or two. I know the Absolute universe is supposed to go, not the Absolute universe. The what's the that's how uninterested I am in the Ultimate Universe on the Marvel side, right? The Ultimate Universe is they still got books going, but that's really supposed to be over. So I don't understand that, but okay. So yeah, it is what it is. It says Absolute Catwoman is just one shot. They have no more solicits for that book. Okay, well, if that's the case, it's a one shot. Some of us might buy it. You know what I'm saying? If there's some fire covers for it, you know what we're gonna do. Cover buys tell no lies. It is what it is. So, it's like all of us have bought books for a dope cover. All right, so I would not be surprised that if we get something, you know, and now going back to Orion's comment, it says there should be an absolute Mr. Terrific and get Sanford for the art and writing. I would be here for that. I would be here for that. But It's their toys. They they do what they want. So yeah. So anyway, speaking of very very white things, this just came out. This is called Comics the Magazine. Okay, you know back in the day, Wizard Comics was a big thing, right? The DC, we don't care about black titles. Better get in where you fit in. I'm so serious. We do. we care. We care. I told you, I am black pill, which simply means that I don't, they're going to do what they're going to do. And they don't, I don't want to talk about this. I really don't. I will just simply say this, that whatever DC decides to do, I'm not surprised. What they don't do, I'm not surprised. Nothing with them surprises me. They have not surprised me with anything they have done. They have more black characters than Marvel does, and yet they do the least with them. Now, some of their characters, Jon Stewart is one of the premier black superhero characters at DC. They use him, and as they should. But you got Vixen. I mean, to me, as far as black female characters, Vixen should be right there with Storm. Right there with Storm. I mean, I'm not trying to compare power sets and that kind of thing, but yeah, I'm just saying, guys. Bo Big hits us with a super chat, says, "What up? Good evening, Rich. Thank you for the super chat. Let's go." Yep. So back to this though. So this came out recently. This is Comics Magazine. So back in the 90s and back in the day, comic books that, there were comic books that had, well, not comic books, there were magazines that dedicated to comics. Wizard Comics was one of those magazines, you know what I'm saying? And so I have a few Wizard magazines in my collection, some with particularly with milestone stuff or whatever. And but here's the thing, Wizard was never my favorite magazine. Of all the magazines I've seen, Alter Ego is probably my favorite of all the quote unquote magazines that have come down the pipe. But this came out recently, right? Comics Magazine says that the magazine you demanded. Okay, now I listen, as a black person, okay? When I go places, I look for black people. I look to see if this is a safe space for somebody of my complexion. Okay. And it's no different in magazine. So I'm opening this thing up, right? And I'm looking for some black names. I'm looking for some black pictures. I'm looking for some black artists. I'm looking for some black folks. I'm just looking. I'm really perusing, trying to find out, okay, where's the, all right, I see that, I see. Now, they do have this picture of, Absolute Catwoman is in here. So I guess that counts. But there's no black people in this book at all. Now, I guess we can call Absolute Catwoman a token. I don't know. But it says, now we're going to hold on, smooth approach. I'm going to get to that in a second. So I'm just looking through this book and I see a couple of black people in advertisements or whatever, but not creators. Nothing significant, nothing that rates, if I can say it like that. This is a very, 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 very season deficient book. He said, Rich, you ain't by yourself. I see too much of the other group I roll out. Bruh, look, look, Black in America gives you a certain level of paranoia or spider sense, if you will. You know, saying my spider sense start tingling like, this ain't the spot. But anyway, but I'm thumbing through this thing and I'm trying to find something with melanin in it. And I can't find nothing. Like I said, I see one ad for Strange Adventures, Comics and Curiosities. And it looks like a picture of some dude. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the only Black person that I see in this book. Not only that, okay, I want to get to something specific, okay? And they rate on here power rankings plus power rankings. She said, you're a month too late. Whatever. I've been gone a minute. So you got to bear with me, smooth approach. Okay, so this short box 100. Now, this short box 100 is like the top 100 titles in comics. Can I tell you that there is not a Black book, not one. Let me, I'm gonna run down the list. We ain't doing a whole bunch of stuff here today, so I can run down this list. This is the top 100 comics sponsored by CGC. Shout out to Lord have mercy. I gotta say something about the CBCS or whatever the name of that. The grading service is no more. R.I.P. CGC, you guys got it by yourself. Shout out to PGX and all these other grading companies because CGC is feeling pretty good about themselves. So I guess you guys can brag or whatever. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, CGC. Y'all want to beat y'all chest, but just remember a couple of years ago, y'all couldn't get a slab out to your customers within a 90-day, 120 days. Y'all were taking nearly up to a year to turn around and grade a comic book, put it in the slab, and send it back. Y'all name was in the dirt. Now y'all feeling pretty good about yourself because your competition, fell off. They didn't fall off because I want this to be clear. Shout out to all the people at CGC because this might hurt y'all feelings a little bit. Y'all did not beat CBCS. Y'all did not beat them. They beat themselves. Okay? You didn't win. You were always, quote unquote, the top dog, and no one can take that from you. But you had nothing to do with what happened to that company, okay? Because you were just asking people, not even a couple of years ago, to bear with y'all while y'all dealt with the backlog and what was going on during, Voldemort or the pandemic. Y'all remember the pandemic and what they was doing in CG? Y'all, they act like, you know what I'm saying? They just, I guess, of course, everybody was at home and maybe they was getting a little bit more books than they normally would get. Okay, we'll buy you that, you know what I'm saying? But don't start beating your chest, okay? And this list, trust me when I tell you, this does you no favors, at least with me. At least with me. Now, let's just run down this list. Number 1, CGC. X-Men issue number 1 from 1991. The value on that book is $67. This is according to this list. Absolute Batman is number 2. A 9.8, $380. It's the value. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 8. In the 9.8, $532. I can't read all of this. Let me just take you down the list of these books. Amazing Spider-Man 300. Spawn number 1. So Spawn, I guess, I don't know with us Black people, we fickle about some of y'all like Spawn, some of y'all don't count Spawn. it's weird, but okay. So I guess technically we can say that there's a black man, a burnt black man, a black man that has been lynched at number 6. Okay, we'll say that. Okay, number 6. Okay, New Mutants 98, Star Wars number 1, Wolverine Limited Series from 1982, X-Men 1 Special Collector's Edition from 1991, Uncanny X-Men 266, Omega Man 3, Venom Lethal Protector 1, Venom Amazing Spider-Man 129, Amazing Spider-Man 252, Newsstand, Wolverine number 1, okay? Amazing Spider-Man 361, Ultimate Fallout number 4. We know that's Miles Morales' first appearance. So I guess that counts. Or does it? I don't know. But this is the CGC short box stuff. So this is what I guess the number 1 books or the top 100 books that get slabbed or whatever. I don't know. Spider-Man 13, Amazing Spider-Man 252, a lot of Amazing Spider-Man. Incredible Hulk 340, Batman the Killing Joke. Let's see, Amazing Spider-Man, Savage She-Hulk, Spectacular Spider-Man, Iron Man, Marvel Secret Wars number 1, Iron Man number 1. From 1968, that's $400 at a 4.0. X-Men 4, Amazing Spider-Man 194, Silver Surfer number 1, Spider-Man number 1 from 1990, Avengers Annual 10. Very, very white list. I'll just say it like that. Web of Spider-Man, I'm just do the top 50. Web of Spider-Man at 38. 39 is X-Men 101. X-Men 94. Fantastic Four 49. Uncanny X-Men 221. Okay, wait a minute. We got a black people sighting. Fantastic Four 52 at 43. Okay. John Size X-Men number 1 right behind it. Okay. So I think I counted like 3 books. Incredible Hulk 180, Amazing Spider-Man 121, Conan the Barbarian number 1, Spider-Woman number 1, Amazing Spider-Man 238, Amazing Spider-Man number 50. Yeah. So a lot of books. Not so much a lot of black folk. So you got Spawn, Black Panther, first appearance of Black Panther, first appearance of Storm. Yeah. Anyway, H&A says, ouch, my CBCS 9.9s. Yeah, look, Derek, those books got rated what they are. And, you don't have to. Now, some people are going to, of course, crack their slabs open, their CBCS slabs, and send them to CGC. They're going to do that because they want their books that retain value, because it's kind of like, what's the value of these books if this company is now out of business? I don't know what to tell y'all. I know this is Brother Randy's forte. I'm not a slab guy. I got a few slabs in my collection. I think I have like maybe 1 or 2 CBCS books, but most of mine are CGC. But comics are a funny thing, man. Some parts of the comic book industry are doing well, and some parts are not so much doing well. And it's been weird too, watching people talk about the situation, because it's almost like something to celebrate. And I guess if your team CGC, yeah, I guess you can celebrate. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what? It's a comic grading company. I mean, what? They may be the top in the business, but that's today. Will they be on top tomorrow? Somebody might come do something on the technology scale that will, outshine what CGC is doing. I don't think CGC can rest on their laurels. I'll say it like that. So Styles So Serious asked me, what am I buying now? I'm in a very interesting pickle right now, Styles So Serious. I'm really not buying much, to be honest with you. I've walked away from I've walked away from the Spawn universe altogether. I talked about it, I think the last time I did a show, that I was walking away from Spawn. And the reason why I'm walking away from Spawn is because those books are very thin. And they are, the price tag of those books have gone up another $1. So I'm paying, well, you know, for years I was paying $2.99 for a Spawn book. Now that book is $3.99. But that book has not, you know, you don't get no more pages. It's very, very thin. It's not that I'm stopped reading Spawn, but I'm probably just going to start focusing on trades. Because I like the Spawn universe, but I'm spending a lot of bread on Spawn, King Spawn, The Scorch, Gunslinger Spawn, Deadly Tales of Gunslinger Spawn, Sam and Twitch. I read all of that. And when they do short stories, like Medieval Spawn that's out now. I buy all that, but I decided to walk away from that. So I walked away from that. I have not bought a Absolute Batman book or a Absolute Superman book in about a couple of months or so. I'm behind in terms of buying books on the Absolute Wonder Woman stuff. There's not really been a lot. I was buying Crownsville. I was buying Roots of Madness, Stephanie Williams, and Temporal. Temporal just ended. I think Roots of Madness has one more, I want to say. So I've been reading that and buying that. What else? Not a whole lot, to be honest. And which brings me to kind of what I've been really doing, is because you asked the question. He says, do you still have PSA? John Thomas, I'm country dumb. I'm gonna need you to, what's PSA? Maybe I'm drawing a blank, having a senior moment. The last thing I bought, and I bought some stuff here, okay, guys. I'm a collector. That's what I do. Oh, PSA grading service. Oh, okay. No, I don't. Like I say, CGC. I don't send my books to CGC. I get books. If I buy a slab, it's already it's already circulating in the secondary market, so to speak. So if I get a slab, I'm not sending books in, because that's a lot of bread. Shout out to Mike Carson. Mike Carson has spent a ton of money on his slab, on his static collection. That collection is amazing. So I'm not a slab person. I do have slabs, but when I buy a slab, it's already, a company or person has already sent that book in and had it encased, and that kind of thing. I don't have all my slabs here. I have a couple. I'll pull them out in a second when we go to commercial. But matter of fact, Derek, why don't you do that? Take us to the commercial real quick. I'll grab some slabs and I'll grab some stuff that I've been recently buying, and I'll share it with y'all. So we'll be right back, y'all. We're 33 minutes in. We got about another half hour to go. So we'll be right back. When you go to an art museum and you see pictures on the wall, what do you think? I can tell you that a picture cannot audibly speak anything. Yet you will be challenged to find something, however, that doesn't speak louder. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And that is how I justify buying black books at times solely for their covers. Sure, I would love for the story inside to be amazing. I would love for the writing to capture my attention and hold my thoughts for ransom. Yet I have experienced a world of story in an image. I am drawn in by drawings and pulled in by paintings, not having an inkling of the message communicated by the ink. For my mind has made up its own mind, and it has told me it does not care what the artist creates, for I, a created being, see me in the work. I see my babies, I see my ladies, I see my brothers, I see my fathers, I see my people, I see my equals, I see everything and anything and something completely different from you and you too. We see the same shapes and colors, but not the same images. Beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. For I beheld a canvas that canvassed my heart and mind, giving me peace, giving me sadness, and giving me anger, giving me love and giving me hope. So when I see comic books with a face like me, I see a story where half the story has yet to be told, because truly it can't. After all, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
What's up, y'all? Billy used to sing about southern trees bearing strange fruit, while Paul Laurence Dunbar explains that we should wear the mask to conceal our tears and sighs, while they hide behind bedsheet hoods, being up to no good. Spawn issue 30 is about Al Simmons finding himself in the Deep South, asking forgiveness from an ex-wife. Love be like that sometime. Anyway, Spawn finds himself in the middle of Klan country. And I guess this night, they gave the cross the night off and decided to burn down a brother's property. Spawn walks up on this and the man immediately takes him for an enemy. But you know that old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, Spawn spins a yarn for the brother to let him know that he's had his share of dealing with Mr. Charlie and sellouts, namely his boy Terry, who just so happens to be with his ex-wife. But that's another story for another day. So Spawn goes looking for trouble, dressed in Klan robes, and he finds himself swinging from one of those southern trees that Billy was singing about. But you know, you can't kill someone that's already dead. And let's just say Spawn exacts his revenge for the brother he met and for himself by an unmasking of his own. So check it out. If you like the video, please share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And thanks for watching. Peace.
Slabs. My slabs are actually, majority of them are already have been relocated. So what I do have here is only 3, and this is the most recent one I got. Well, I take it back. Is it? No, this one is. This is Storm in a 9.8. This is Storm issue 1 by Mawera Ayodele. And in my humble opinion, Mawera Ayodele has written the best Storm book, story arc, whatever you want to call it. He's been the best on it. They have not given Storm as a character good writing traditionally, in my humble opinion. Now, there's one particular writer who's no longer with us that I enjoy his Storm run, and that was Eric Jerome Dickey. When he did his Storm book featuring T'Challa. But by far, Mawera Ayodele, this is issue number 1. And this is the Opinia variant. So I have that in a 9.8. This one, I've showed this before, but yeah, this is my static 9.8. So I have that one in a 9.8. Most important, in my opinion, most important milestone character. You know what I'm saying? Some say hardware, some say icon. But I have that, and then I have my Adam Legend of Blue Marvel in a 9.0 number 1. I have that here. So those are just the slabs I got here left. Now, as far as what I've actually bought, a recent memory of, it's a recent memory. This is from a Kickstarter that I supported, that we supported here, Black Comic Lords. Jason Wise. I got a metal variant This thing is bad to the bone. This is the Nas homage. And the story by Urias, Jason Wise was one of the, I enjoyed the comic book. I enjoyed the story, the issue 1 of Jason Wise. Phenomenal. And so I definitely recommend, if you can get your hands on, I don't know if Sebastian has more of these or whatever, you should hit that up and get that book, because it's a pretty good. The art's always phenomenal with Stranger Comics. That's no secret. But you know, the real sauce, the secret sauce. Shout out to Paul. Me and Paul was talking earlier, and you know, and I've discussed this with Sebastian. You know what I'm saying? He tricks all of y'all with his art, with the art that he presents, the artists that he recruits to do these amazing covers and variants and all that. He tricks y'all. The real secret sauce is the writing. Telling you. And Sebastian Jones ain't no joke. His pen is nice. But what he's done with Asunder and that whole universe, bruh, I'm telling you now, for those of you who are going to watch the movie when it does come out, when The Stranger does make its screen debut, talking about the comics, you want to hunt down some of these comics, because they're going to rocket in price. I'm telling you. When people see that on screen, yeah. Don't say we didn't tell you. So my boy, I said, yes, it is. I have my stack. So yeah. So I just recently read, as far as books that I've read, this is Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing number 10. Swamp Thing number 10 is a story about Swampy, as Constantine likes to call him. It's a story about he is in a swamp, of course, and he runs across an old Black woman who was a slave. And she begins to tell him a story about her life and her growing up on a plantation and her experiences with a particular cruel master. And so without giving it away, just suffice to say that, you know, chickens come home to roost. So yeah, I love Swamp Thing, you know, and we interviewed Rodney Barnes a couple of times, and shout out to Rodney Barnes. Where's my issue 36, Rodney? But okay, bring it in, Richard. Bring it in. But Rodney Barnes, I think I asked him, or maybe Paul asked him, you know, what would he like to write? And Swamp Thing is a character he said he would like to write. I would love for y'all at DC, if anybody that works at DC watches Black Comic Lords or know anybody, Rodney Barnes has said that he would like to write Swamp Thing. Y'all need to make that happen, because Crownsville was fire. Crownsville was amazing. Listen, let me talk about Rodney for a second. Rodney has been laid back, but the thing about Rodney is Rodney will be laid back and will put something out there and it will be ridiculously good. I can't tell if this dude is working hard or he's just chilling. I can't tell, because since Philadelphia has went on hiatus, this guy's continued to do things. He's got like 2 or 3 books now. He's got the well, he finished up Crownsville. He's got the Falling Sun book, 30 Days and 30 Nights. He's got that. And I think he's got one other book. Suffice to say, though, this dude stayed busy. And, you know, it's kind of like, you cannot deny that this guy is money. He says he wants to write Swamp Thing. I'm just saying, DC, why are y'all leaving money on the table? You don't want to put no Black characters? Fine. At least use a Black man to write a story about one of his favorite characters. I'm just saying, DC. And if and when y'all do decide to do that, holler at your boy. Send me a variant. You know, have Rodney sign it and say, thank you, Rich. Thank you, OG Rich, for putting us up on money. Thank you for putting more money in our pocket. You're welcome. Anyway, so been reading that, right? I just bought this today. Now, shout out to anybody that know who Rob Guillory is. Sounds so serious says, I know he wants to write Swamp Thing, but how should he continue with that Crownsville? But he should, on the low, should continue that Crownsville series. Hey, bro, it's his world. He can do what he wants. But yes, I would love for some more Crownsville stuff. And the way Crownsville ended, it was kind of like, we might get some more stories coming down the pipe. But I mean, you know, I just really want my Philadelphia. I really just want my Nita Halls. I need to see Mama Waldy. I need to see Blackula again. Please, Rodney. Yeah. Anyway. But for those who know Rob Guillory is the writer of Farmland. And Rob Guillory has done some other stuff as well, but he's mostly known for Farmhand. I'm sorry. But I picked this up today, and this is a book, just a small book of Rob Guillory's art. On the back of it, it says, The Weird and Wonderful Art of Rob Guillory. And this is done back in 2017. And it's a limited series. Only 400 of these exist. Lock It Down Productions. I've worked with Rob. He's dope. So there's only 400 of these. This is number 70. And it's just some cool art. You know what I'm saying? Rob is a very talented artist, has a dope style of art. I'll just kind of, you know, just show you some stuff or whatever. But real cool dude. And again, you know what I'm saying? I picked this up, and I'm not even going to tell you what I got it for, but it was almost a 5-finger discount, to be honest. So I got that. Then I picked this up. I got this today too. Got this for $3. This is Emerald Dawn. Now I have the floppies for this. This is a trade. This is the first 6 issues of Green Lantern Dawn by Jim Owsley and M.D. Bright. Now, Keith Griffin and Gerald Jones also helped write this, and M.D. Bright worked with Romeo Tanghal on this or whatever. But this was, you know, M.D. Bright, Jim Owsley, basically Christopher Priest and Doc Bright. Their first work, not their first work, because they did the Action Comics. They did a number of backstories on Green Lantern in that book. But this here is from, I think, 1991. But this is a nice little graphic. I picked this up for like $3. So nobody knows what this is. Of course, I mean, it's Green Lantern, of course, but they thinking, oh, it's just another Green Lantern book. Like, no, for a collector like myself, black collector like myself, to have Christopher Priest and M.D. Bright, goodness, I have the floppies or whatever, but now I have the trade. I can just pick it up off my bookshelf and read it. So I got that. Now I got a comic haul, last store I worked with, and I'm gonna just show you some books. Now, some of these books I already got, and some of them I don't. Okay, so this is Barack Panther. This is nothing really noteworthy other than it's, you know, Barack Obama as the Black Panther. Nice, what they call it, spoof or whatever. But, you know, on the back of it, the guy that sold it to me says, is this a key? The first appearance of Barack Obama as the Black Panther? Perhaps. But I don't think a lot of collectors are, you know, breaking down the board. But I will say Barack is African. So there is that. And it is a dope cover, Moan. So yeah. I got this too. But this is a silver screen variant. So there's another variant. I have the other one as well already in my collection. So that's cool. I have this book already in my collection, but this one is signed. This is Michael Avon Oeming did the cover for this. I already have this in my collection, but this one is signed. This is the the assassination of Malcolm X, #1. So I have this already, but I don't have it signed. So, and apparently he did 600 of these. And so this is like number 60 because it's marked on there. So this one here, I really didn't care, but hey, I'm not mad. He's black man. Colin Powell in 2009. I guess this might be the first appearance of Colin Powell in a comic book. So now, here's the thing about this. These last books I showed you, I got these books, right? These books. Because I got it in a lot. I didn't get these books for this. I got all of these because they were included in this. Ladies and gentlemen, about a week or so ago, Herschel was on my show. He did a show in my place, I should say. And he talked about Tertel Only. Tertel Only is a pioneer in the black comic book space, the black age of comics, noble artist, writer, scholar. He did a comic book. And that comic book is sought after by a lot of black collectors like myself. And correct me if I'm wrong, Herschel, I don't know if you're there or not, but you call this book a ghost. Well, call me the Ghostbuster, because I got it. This is Malcolm 10 from 1993. Only Studios. Welcome to the Black Age of Comics, Malcolm 10. This book is called Malcolm 10 because people back in the day that would see Malcolm X, they thought that the X was the Roman numeral 10. But it wasn't. So he, and being geeky and comic book like whatever, said, you know what, I'm gonna just do a comic book called Malcolm 10. So this book is, some will say it's a ghost, but I know it don't show up much in our community. So this is a welcome addition to my collection. And I got it for a pretty good deal. I got a pretty good deal on it. So I'm not mad at the price I paid for it. But that's one of those things. What's going on, Ray? He says, late to the party. No, you're not late, bro. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? As a collector, whatever, one of the things that I'm happy that I'm not swayed by what's on the walls at comic shops. As much as I would like to go to a comic shop and get something off the wall and enjoy it and that kind of thing, a lot of times I'll walk into a comic shop and I'll walk out the comic shop with nothing because there's nothing that draws my interest or whatever. And, you know, while I believe in pre-ordering and having books that you can, you know, that you want. Now he asked me, did I pick up the Center Holes? Yes, I have yet to go pick up issue number 2 though. So I have that waiting for me. So I have the last work of MD Bright, issue 1. I got to just go to the shop and get issue number 2, but I have it yet. So, but I'm glad that there are other things that I can collect and go after it, and it'd be kind of cool to just, you know, hunt down and that kind of thing. And I get recommendations and I get ideas on the Black Comic Lords YouTube channel, or, you know, or not the YouTube channel so much, but the Facebook group. Sometimes I'll see stuff on YouTube that will get me to go out and will go into a rabbit hole or that kind of thing too. And it's cool. It could be fun. It's supposed to be fun. Collected is supposed to be fun. You know what I'm saying? Comic books, sometimes they can be loathsome at times. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, they're chill. If you have something dope to read, there's always something dope that you can go get. There's nothing that you can't get, but I tell people, you know, you may have to go in the back issues, go find what you missed. Because that's the thing about Black Comic Lords that's dope, is that, you know, we know that a lot of us have missed a lot of stuff, that some of the representation of some of the black characters that we want to see You've been already, Marvel or DC may have already given it to you, just didn't know, or no one just chose to buy. And that's a story for another day. But yes, we believe in pre-ordering around here. We know that that is the truth of everything that we do. That if you're going to be a comic book collector, if you're going to enjoy this hobby, if you're going to be a active transactional participant in it, then pre-ordering is a necessity. It's not an option. If you want these books to succeed, if you want these artists to continue to have jobs and continue to be able to give you more story, you have to buy the books. Okay, it's that simple. Now I'm off the soapbox. Yeah. So anyway, what you guys reading? Tell me about it before we get out of here. You know what I'm saying? What's been on your mind? You can AMA, ask me anything. I can only tell you nope, yes or no, or maybe, perhaps. Let's see what he got. I have pre-ordered only 6 books of all Black characters. Then 3 of those books are number 1s. What's up? That's what's up. Frustrated. I had to go back and get back the back issues of Icon and Rock. Jake Wilkes. Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I tell people, you jump on when you jump on. Jay says, yeah, okay, I got that. But you jump on when you jump on. And when you don't, you may not be engaged to where you get stuff. And, and I don't want nobody that gets books that have already been out to feel less than or feel like they're just not on what's up. I don't want you to feel slighted or different at all. We all come into this space at different entry points. And you may be on the cutting edge of what's coming out, and you may be late to the party. It's cool. It's all right. It's room enough at the table for you. There's room at the table for you. It's room for, if you can come to the cookout, it's most certainly a room. You got a chair waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? So if a collector comes in, or if a person comes in who has never read a comic book, they want to read a comic book, all of us as comic book heads ought to be able to at least recommend one book to that person and do it in a spirit of joy. Do it in a spirit of kindness. Do it in a spirit of seeing someone wanting to enjoy what you enjoy. I don't understand how we're in a space where people are literally mean to one another because they don't know something. I do not understand that, and I'm not going to claim I ever will. Some people don't even ask questions because they're going to be afraid of how you're going to respond. And I know for myself, there are certain people at the comic shop I don't ask a question to because I already know that they are jackbutt. I go where I'm celebrated, not where I'm tolerated. And I also make a point to, have relationships with different people at different shops for different reasons. Because I know that everybody doesn't have the perfect comic shop experience. I've had some good experiences. I've had some bad experiences at comic shops. MD says, Center Holes is a beautiful book. I wish it was going a lot longer. Picked up Hardware Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2. Picked up Isom when I picked up some original issues of Icon and Rocket. That's what's up. Hope you enjoy them. They're amazing. I will say that. You can't go wrong with what you picked up. For real. You know what I'm saying? So just please enjoy, everybody. Enjoy the hobby. And try to find like-minded people to collect with and share with and talk to about this stuff, because sometimes people will be in their own bubble and they have no one to share their love. The dope thing about social media is that we have that opportunity. But with social media comes trolls. With social media comes warts. With social media comes a-holes. With social media comes mean people. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, can we just enjoy nice things? And can you allow someone else to enjoy what you enjoy or what you've already enjoyed? You know what I'm saying? I've never understood that mentality of some people. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird too, because there are people that would go a whole lot further as a person, in my opinion, if they were a little bit nicer, if they were a little bit more engaging. And you know what I'm saying? People are people. Let them be who they are. I try to meet people right where they are. You know what I'm saying? If you the big head know it all right, that's what's up. You don't know anything, all right, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to treat you any less. I'm not going to treat this other person with more value. You never know who you're talking to. That's the one thing. I gave advice to a lady one time. I had a bad experience at a hotel, and the lady that was helping me in this situation, she didn't really understand. She didn't know who she was talking to. She didn't know that I was a person that cared about her, even though I didn't know her. She also knew that she didn't understand that, you know, I expected a certain level of excellence when it came to her. You have to expect a certain level of excellence out of each other. That's the only way we pull each other up. We have to be willing to be bold in our love for people. Have you ever been bold in your love for people? Have you ever been bold in comics for people? Not what you know, but how you help people grow. Okay? So I'm saying that to say that when I was having this conversation with her, she was having a moment. But I told her, I said, you don't know who you're talking to. And it wasn't talking about me per se, but I'm saying that when you greet people, you don't know who you are encountering. The Bible tells us that we entertain angels unaware. So it may be the day you have a bad day and the presence of God just walked right past you because you didn't even sense it, because you just didn't even know what you were doing because you were so busy thinking about what you got going on. You never know. So always be kind, because comics are for everybody. Comics are for the atheists. Comics are for believers. Comics are for the non-believers. Comics are for the misfit. Comics are for the awkward. Comics are for the engaged. Comics are for introverts. Comics are for extroverts. Comics are for everybody. Everybody. You may have certain thoughts about them, and it's okay to have your thoughts or whatever, but treat people how you want to be treated. Jay Wilkes says, I shared my copy of Dakota Instant with one of my colleagues. I need to pick up 3 more copies for my brothers. We've been reading comics since we were kids. They have no idea who Icon is. Help them out. Help them out. Help them out. Help one, each one teach one, help a brother, help a sister. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say this to our brothers, you know what I'm saying? Encourage your sisters. Encourage your sisters to be the best collectors that they can be. Don't make them feel a certain kind of way because they don't know certain things. Because the trust and believe, there are some comic heads out here, some sisters that are comic heads that know more than you. All right. Don't be embarrassed. Don't embarrass yourself. But what I'm getting at is ultimately is that, you know what I'm saying, we want this to be a community thing. We want it to be a community thing. The community's already divided enough. The only way we can bring people together, because the cookout looking very funny right now. But we need to get back to some maize and some barbecue vibes when it come to us. We got to. It's winter in America, y'all. And I know some of y'all might think of that phrase, winter. It's here in different ways, whatever, but I can just tell you that phrase is an old phrase. Gil Scott-Heron been singing about winter in America for a long time. Now, MD says, did you send the solicit for to send in number 1? I did not. I'm not in charge of that. Somebody in my staff might be. So you got to take it up with the brass and Black Cup. Paul, or are you here, Paul? So, you know, he said, did I send this? She said, MD's Johnny says, did you send the solicit for to send number 1? Nope, I did not, because I'm unaware. Did you see the solicit? Okay. Did you see the solicit? I have not. I have not. I told you I've been in a foxhole. I haven't really been doing a whole lot of things. And shout out to the Wednesday night wrap up. You know what I'm saying? They have so much going on. They be forgetting to tell y'all about the books that's coming out. Just like y'all be looking forward to what's coming out. Fellas, sister, talking about Angel, talking to you. Y'all need to get to the part of the show where y'all share with us what's coming out. But I have not seen that. I'm going to go look it up after the show. let me write that down right now, because I have not seen that. Because, you know, so busy living life and doing life. So anyway, so what's up, guys? What y'all got going on? What y'all reading? What's your thoughts? What other questions do you have for your boy? So please like the video while you're here. You know what I'm saying? We're getting ready to wrap this up. But yeah, what's going on? What else y'all reading? I will say that I talked about Stephanie Williams's temporal and how good it was, or whatever. And I know that the solicits for the trade is getting ready to come out. So I think that I'm not sure the final cutoff day when that is or whatever, but I think it comes out in April. So if you missed out on that, on getting the floppies, you can get the trade issues 1 through 5 of that series, Stephanie Williams, next month. So yeah. Been out of the loop lately. Did I miss something? No, Panthro, you ain't missed nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing to see here. I'm surprised the fellas ain't saying nothing though. But I thought I was gonna get a little bit more response out of that Malcolm 10. I'll probably hear about it later. But either way, so yeah, you know what I'm saying? As far as what's been going on in the community and that kind of thing, there's a lot been going on. I've kind of stayed away from the commentary only because I feel like I didn't have anything of note to contribute to the conversation, if that means anything. Because usually when I say stuff or whatever, you know, I'd have sat with it for a minute, and I have with some of this stuff, but I don't feel a need to comment on some stuff because I feel like sometimes a lot of people have already spoken on this, and that's enough. You know what I'm saying? We have this thing in ministry where when the gospel is preached, there's nothing to say afterwards. And so that's kind of how I've been when it comes to some of this stuff. It's like somebody has already addressed this situation. Ain't no need to talk about it, or ain't no need to even investigate it or any further or add my 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? So, Smooth Approach. He brings up, I forgot it. Thank you for bringing that back to my attention. Warner Discovery deal, Ellison's canceling the TV show Watson. I have seen a couple of episodes of Watson, and I thought it was pretty dope, to be honest with you. I think that the night that it was coming on is what did it a disservice. Some of these shows, the night matters where they put these shows, and a lot of people didn't see it because of that. The Neighborhood was, I think, just it's getting ready to end or has ended. Benefited from the show slot that they were in, which is why it lasted as long as it did. Now, a lot of people have not seen The Neighborhood, but a lot of people swear by The Neighborhood. I've seen a few episodes of it, but it was nothing I was just like, man, I gotta get home to watch The Neighborhood. It wasn't like that for me. But for some people, it was. And it went like, what, 8 seasons, I want to say, or 6 seasons, however long it went. But it went long and it was successful. But I think that what happened to Watson, apart from the deal, was that it had a bad night slide. So he said, I'm online. Paul said, I'm online, still trying to find that Malcolm. Yeah, well, good luck. I say I was right there. Opportunity uh, presented itself, and I was prepared. Defiant, the story of Robert Smalls and the second printing of the history of Dakota is up for pre-order. Yeah. Well, what's interesting with the Defiant book, Robert Smalls? I have a couple of Robert Smalls books, graphic novels of Robert Smalls, and I enjoy the Stranger Comics uh, portion of that or whatever. It was cool. Um, I know I don't have it for pre-order though. I'm probably not going to pre-order the history of the Dakota Universe. I'm gonna definitely get the second print for that. So yeah. Jay Wilkes says, I just finished DCKO. Black Lightning was underutilized, of course. I wanted to see him utilize his powers to tap into the electrical fields or on an Omega level. Let me say this about the Black Lightning. I felt like he should have been used. He was underutilized in the Dakota incident. I wanted him to suit up. He was in a suit, but he wasn't suited up. He was in the he was in the book, but he didn't do anything. But hopefully we'll get some more Black Lightning sooner than later. Fubu Comics says, "Long live Milestone." Already, already. I want to say one thing as I get ready to close out about Milestone and some of the. Like I said, some of the people have already spoken on this, and I'm gonna just say this about Milestone and indies and that kind of thing. And some people feel in some type of way because it feels to certain people that it's dismissive. When we say things like we can support you and Milestone, it feels dismissive to certain people. I will only simply offer this to you, is that Milestone is a part of our fandom because it's, I'm missing the word. A part of it's a part of our history. It's nostalgia, which is why we can't let that go because it's nostalgia. I'm gonna tell you something. Nostalgia is a strong drug. There's not. Let me tell you. Listen. You can have the best thing since sliced cheese come out, and if it does not become nostalgic, it will be forgotten, or it will disappear into the ether. It won't be remembered. People remember Milestone, and so it feels like we don't care enough about what you're doing, and it's not true. We do, but you can't hang people up over their nostalgia. It's like Superman. It's like Superman when it came out in 1978. There's a white man in a suit that can fly. We saw that on screen. Went to the movie theater, popcorn in hand, with my dad, and I watched a man fly. And I heard the classical music, da, 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 all of that magic. we heard all of that. We experienced all of that, the thrill of all that as a child. And then I was like, okay, many kids grew up reading Milestone. They were kids reading Milestone. And so they feel about Milestone the way I felt about Superman. I was a full whole adult when Milestone came out. But I can't tell that kid that picked up the static to like, no, you need to put static down. You need to go read this book over here that this guy just put out 5 minutes ago. I sound crazy. All I'm gonna say is that we can do both. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. And I'm sorry that some of y'all may feel a certain way about that, but you're not gonna beat nostalgia. Nostalgia is undefeated. It's undefeated. Now, you can let certain things in your nostalgia go and try new things. It's always good to try new things, right? But if a person chooses to stay with DC or chooses to stay with Marvel stuff because it's their favorite characters and that kind of thing. You can't begrudge nobody for that. Because it's nostalgia. Nostalgia is the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. A lot of us, especially those of us that are Gen X, man, we ain't watching this new stuff. We watching old stuff. we don't care about the new stuff. We like the old stuff. Now, if you're smart enough and your stuff is John Blaze enough to get me to like really, really dig it, then I'm all in. But it's on you to get it there, not me. Not me. It's you to get it there, not me. So all I'm gonna say is that we can only be who we are. And no one should apologize for that. When God made you, he made one on one. And that's the way you got to see it. And you got to believe in yourself. And if you really believe that your stuff is John Blaze, that it could be the stuff of nostalgia, then you'll keep going. You'll get there. But you can't ask me to put down milestone. I can't even take you serious. Like what? You know what I'm saying? I'll be serious. It's like a kid or it's like a guy that collects action figures. It's not my deal. It's not my deal at all. It's not my deal at all, right? But I cannot look at somebody that collects action figures and say, you know what, bro, you need to grow up. You need to let that go. I can't do that. That's that person's choice. That's their fandom. That's their thing. That's what makes it special for them. And they should be allowed to do that. They have the God-given right to do that. I can't police your collection. You can't police mine. We can't police each other's fandom or whatever. We can help one another, but we can't police one another. No. My job is to make you feel amazing about what you do in terms of comics. Outside of that is something totally different. I'm here for the stories. I'm here for the art. I'm here for the fandom, the laughs, the giggles. I'm here for it all. Not the chaos. I'm not here for that. So collect what you love. Share what you love. And be unapologetic about it. Because you're one on one. And, shout out to my man, DJ Big Phil. He talks about him and Otis and a few others that collect original art. They talk about having a one-on-one. That's the one thing that you need to know about you and your fandom or whatever. You got to treat your fandom and your collection like it's just that. This is a one-on-one. This is how I collect. This is what I find favoring. This is what I do. This is how I get down. And it should be amazing. You know what I'm saying? And we should enjoy one another. Yeah. Black Panther says, are Black indie creators the only ones to talk down to the customers they're trying to sell to? No, they're not the only ones. That's been the problem in comics in general. Black Panther. I think that we forget something that at 16 years old, I've shared this story. At 16 years old, I learned the most important gem or nugget about business at 16 years old from a man named Kermit Washington. Now, I went on and got 2 degrees. I have a bachelor's degree in business management, and I have an MBA. And I had to learn a whole lot of stuff, read a whole lot of books, do a ton of research, write a ton of papers to get those expensive pieces of paper on my wall. But the most important nugget and lesson I ever learned, I learned at 16. And that is the customer is always right. You may feel a certain way about the customer, and the customer may be wrong in how they approach whatever, but the customer is always right because he who pays the piper calls the tune. And if you're in business, it's your job to give the customer the best product available. It's not about what you think is. Because if you're going to do it that way, and if no one responds to you, then it doesn't mean that you're not talented. It's just that this is not for them. And you can't be mad about that. That's why certain things pop and certain things don't. The best MCs are not the richest MCs in hip hop. We know that. But you cannot, despise or alienate your fan base. No, because some people do that in comics. That's the weird thing about comics today, where you have people who feel a certain way about if you do this, you shouldn't be doing that. If you like this, you shouldn't mess with that, or whatever the case is. I mean, do you, but understand that comes at a cost. But you can't do that. You can't talk down to your fan base. And I'm not saying that guys are doing that. Because I think that the guys that know, the true business people that do comics for real and are very successful, I think they know. But there's a lot of people who have to learn. There's a learning curve there. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's not just germane to Black Indies. That's been the comic book problem, that you have these artists who think they know better than the consumers. And it's just not true. The numbers bear that out. It just does. You know what I'm saying? You can talk all day long about what's right and wrong, or whatever. What that pocketbook look like? What that sales chart say? You know what I'm saying? And again, you got to understand that, particularly with Black Indies, that's a small group. But here's the thing about us. We have everything we need. The Black indie community has everything it needs. All it needs is for its community, the Black community, to support it. They will be successful. But they got to be able to unlock. They got to be able to get to the Infinity Stone. They got to be able to unlock the treasure of the new power set or whatever. They got to be able to figure it out to get people to really usher in and gain interest and sell books. They can do that. They don't have to sell books to the mainstream. All we got to do is buy our own books, and they'll be successful. But you got to look at that collector. You got to look at that person, especially someone like myself, who is a collector. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to buy your comic book and read it and be satisfied with that. If I really enjoy it, I want to put that thing in a bag and board. I want to preserve it. I might want to send it to CGC. And I might want to be able to maximize my value and my interest in it. Because if I spent $50 or $60 to have it encased, I want a 9.8. I want it to be near mint. That way, if I choose to sell it, or if I choose to donate it or give it to my children as a alternative investment piece, my children have a right to be able to maximize that. But you selling me a book and it's got spine ticks all to hell, and you send it to me in an envelope or whatever, and you ain't put no packaging on it or whatever, you think I don't care? I'm not supposed to care about that? That's the kind of things that go on. And I'm going to tell you, the guys that know that, they make the improvements and they sell more books. But keep putting your comic books in an envelope and see if people keep buying. Who you going to blame? It's like when I go to the grocery store and you put a tub of ice cream next to and you put it in the bag. You put a tub of ice cream next to a gallon of bleach. It's in a bag. I shouldn't care. I shouldn't care how you bagged it. What? Anyway, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole. I didn't have no subject matter, but hey, I feel like I need to say something about that. But look, we're going to get out of here, y'all. I want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us tonight. I want to thank Bo Big for the super chat. Please like, share the video before you get out of here. And I'm going to hit you guys with the benediction. The benediction comes from Psalm 18, verse number 3, which simply says, I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. From the stronghold of this black comic lords and black superheroes forever, it's your boy Rich. And until next time, we say peace. I see y'all when I see y'all. We out.